This is episode 70.
Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast.
Ultimate Deck Podcast.
Helping you keep your finger firmly pressed on the decking industry, the people in it, and the information you need to master the backyard. And now, host of the Ultimate Deck Podcast, Shane Chapman.
Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. A day late and a dollar short. We didn't quite get this recorded yesterday, but hey, we made a valiant effort to get. We changed the time on Bryce, I think, like 6 times.
I think you
before
did
we
that.
actually got down here.
Yeah.
Oops. And got set up to record this show. So we're live on Instagram right now. People, if you're on Instagram, feel free to comment throughout the show. And if there's some value behind it, we'll talk about it on the show. You can answer questions through the Instagram Live. This is a Instagram Q&A episode anyway. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of questions that came in through our stories that we posted yesterday.
Yep.
But my wife already, I can't believe I watched 70 of these already. She is a bold-faced liar. She doesn't.
I think she means 70 seconds. I can't believe I watched 70 seconds of this already.
That's more accurate. She is definitely not listened or watched to a full episode.
Yeah.
But that was funny. Anyway, we posted some stories yesterday saying, hey, what are some topics you want us to cover? We were up in Saskatoon working on the store up there. We thought we could get back in time. We did not. But a lot of good questions came in and we thought, hey, why don't we just turn this into another Instagram Q&A episode? And so we reposted the story, got some more questions. And now we've got like 15 or 20 questions to go through. So
let's go.
Without further ado, because this is going to take some time.
Do we want to do the news in Simcoe?
Oh, yes.
Simcoe has coronavirus. I didn't look any of it up.
For sure they do.
Poor Mike.
You should actually look up. Well, you can't.
Well, I can't.
I've got your phone.
I'm using my phone. It's all
What's
good. We'll skip
happening in
it.
Simcoe
We'll skip it
and
this week.
everywhere is coronavirus. So last week we tried to avoid the conversation of coronavirus. I touched on it a hair because people were messaging us about it. And you'd be surprised. 20 questions today. None of them around coronavirus.
It's just, there's too much news out there. I feel like people need to distance themselves from the news.
You missed my sarcasm.
Yeah.
There's some coronavirus questions in this episode. Anyways, let's get after it. First question was from Red Isle LTD. Red _ Isle is in like island and _ LTD. He asked benefits of offering financing for deck contractor clients. So I feel like this is probably within the context of the fact that there's a pandemic happening right now, but this is not necessarily just that. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Why wouldn't you? So there's some great programs out there. A lot of people are getting on the Finance It train.
It seems to be a good one.
Super simple sign up. The process for getting people to get approved and get on the program is simple.
Yeah.
The rates are fairly decent, much better than any credit card. It allows you to do some promos with
It's still fairly high. Like 8.99 is still a fairly high interest rate. But like you said, it's better than credit cards.
It's better than 18.99.
Correct.
I'll tell you that, or 28.99.
Yeah.
But there's also the ability within there
It's a little easier to get.
buy down the rates to give your customers an offer or something like that if you wanted to. So it costs the business. So I don't know how many people are going to take advantage of that or use that service, but there is the opportunity to give a promotional rate at some point if you want as well. But the process is fairly simple. It's a good option. I think it's a good option because a lot of people are in a situation where they might not necessarily be able to afford the project that they want. And so they may be going to settle because they don't have the cash flow today. And maybe they don't want to put it on a credit card or don't have a credit card or don't have a credit card with a big enough limit or something. And this opens up the door to allow them to do the deck that they want to do. Hopefully not overextending themselves, but it just opens up some options.
There's also always the reality of getting into a house when you first buy a house that you're probably tapped. Like you've spent a lot of your money.
Yep.
And so you likely cannot do another $15,000 payment, but you might be able to do a couple $100 a month. And then as your wage increases over the years, you can start to pay that off. Right. So
yeah.
Anyways,
I think there's no downfall to offering it.
Not for a contractor.
We haven't had a ton of uptake on it, and I don't know that a lot of contractors do get a ton of uptake on it. But there's no pay to play.
How much do you think that is more to do with our ability to sell it or a contractor's ability to sell it versus how feasible people how likely people are to use it. So people use it for their houses, they use it for their cars, they use it for their furniture, they use it for their appliances. It's not because people are uncomfortable financing things. It's probably because the contractor's uncomfortable selling it. Right?
90% of it would be you're not communicating it or promoting it well enough.
Yeah. So
and
like,
we're guilty of that.
Can I sell a picture frame on a deck? Absolutely. Because I have all of the confidence in the world to sell it. But when somebody starts to ask me questions about how to do financing, I don't truly understand that properly. So maybe we need to do a better job of educating ourselves with Finance It and how that works. And maybe they offer some crash courses for us.
Well, they do have a lot of, like, Finance It, for example, has a lot of good resources on their website. If you spend a couple minutes on their website researching, it becomes very simple, very fast.
Yeah. So
we just need to spend some time in that.
Okay.
So is it a good idea to offer benefits, or what are the benefits of offering financing for debt contractor clients? Well, yeah, there is. In the case of Finance It, it's a simple and fast approval. It allows them to close on the project if they maybe were going to have to wait because of their current situation or whatever. You can offer different promotions through it. So that, there's no drawback to it. You don't have to pay to do it.
Yep.
The onus is on the customer to pay the interest rate. There's no fee for you. So
yep.
Why not?
Why not? And then
I guess that's our answer to that.
The benefit, I think, just like a quick, you likely land the job because you offer financing. To it probably could be a more expensive job. Like if they had to outlay cash, 10 might be all they do, but if they're financing it, maybe 15 is what they can do. So you can add some lights.
Exactly.
So the contractor might be able to land the job.
Yeah.
The contractor can make a little more money doing it because he'll sell bigger projects, and then maybe it's like word of mouth, right?
Maybe there's even a scenario where somebody's kind of wishy-washy on whether they want to hire a contractor or do it themselves. And maybe they've got a budget of 10 and it's like, but the deck I want is 10,000 materials. So I'm thinking of maybe I'm just going to try to do it myself. But if you were to offer the financing and be like, listen, I can, this isn't as simple as you think it is.
Yeah.
This is a complex thing. We offer financing. Why don't we just finance that? And that way you can hire a professional to do it. You can get the job done.
Yep.
You still get the deck you want.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about building it. You're not with the money now. It just allows you a little bit more feasible for you.
Yeah.
So
there's a few benefits.
there is
Our wives are chatting.
a comment from your wife, JJ's Lovely Things. It says, it's definitely a sign of the times that JC and I are both watching.
Yeah.
Laugh out loud.
Which means that that's the only way that my wife can see me because I'm
True
in
story.
Saskatoon all week.
Yeah, that too. I am struggling with
Your phone's broken today.
With this being so far away from me, I'm struggling to control the phone. Gaza Construction says social distancing fail. Listen,
I think that's us. We've been together.
there was zero chance that him and I weren't sharing whatever we've potentially got ourselves. We are together more often than our own families. So there was no distancing that was going to help us at any point.
That's right. Yeah.
Next question. What do we got here? Offering Eric Taru. I think is how you say that now, right?
Yeah.
I got the lesson. Eric Taru. Offering financing could be used as a differentiation for sure.
Exactly.
So 3 guys bidding the job. If you're the only one that's offering a financing option, then it very well could be.
Yeah. And it's a great, yeah.
NFDI says, we've offered financing for years. We find a lot of people take advantage. So there you go. Somebody who's actually making the effort to promote it, communicate it, and offer it has success with it. If you just sign up for it, then sit on it.
That's what we did last year.
And don't put it out there.
Yep.
Then you're not going to have a big uptake on it. Number question B.
Number B.
Windsor Plywood Sherwood Park says, and you probably don't want to talk COVID unless it's what strategies, Winky. Yeah, you're right. Next question. I don't know there was no question there. That was just a comment. You probably don't want to.
What strategies?
No, I'd rather not be talking about COVID in these days, but how do you not?
How do you not?
It's just like, it is what it is.
Yep.
There's going to be more questions that touch on it, Colin, so we'll let that slide for now. Next question is from Jason R. Hutch, good old Hutch out in Moose Jaw. He has a question around
From Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Programs people use for invoicing. How do people stay organized? What calendars or...
That's it.
Is there a limit to how many characters you can put in a question response? So he just failed.
got tired.
He had a nap after or. Okay, so programs people use for invoicing. I think a lot of people are using QuickBooks for their invoicing. A lot of people are using Joist, is an app that does invoicing.
Okay.
A lot of people are using FreshBooks. I'm thinking from a contractor's perspective. So I think those three are probably top 5, I would say. I'm not sure what the other 2 would be, but those are very popular ones. So
JJ says there is a limit. She probably was trying to text us stuff.
okay, so I guess there's a limit. So maybe he didn't. Maybe he's not napping. Is he tuned in here? Hopefully he is.
I'm gonna say I have seen some Sage invoices.
A little
come
bit of
through,
Sage, yeah.
Not very many.
So moral of the story here is most people are using some sort of accounting program, whether it's FreshBooks or QuickBooks or Sage 50 accounting or you name it. There's another one like Xero with an X is a popular kind of newer one. You're old. I don't expect you to know about it, but like it's pretty big now.
Xero
with an X.
How do you? Where does the
with
X
an
go?
X?
Where does the X go?
It's not Xerox. It's just XERO. How do you pronounce the instrument where you go do 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 do?
I don't know.
The little xylophone.
Xylophone.
And it has an X.
That makes no
Come on
sense
now.
to me. I hate English.
Anyway, English is a tough one. The answer, I guess, Hutch, on that is one of those 3 is probably a good one.
Stay online. Do something that's an online based one.
I'm a big fan of the idea of going cloud because then you can access it through your phone or app based or something, right? And all the ones I mentioned are. I don't know about Sage. Well, Sage has a cloud platform too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, we just
But
didn't use it.
QuickBooks has a good kind of small business option. As I mentioned, FreshBooks is very popular for like solo entrepreneurs or very small kind of 1 to 2 to 3 person operations. So have a look at that one. I think it's fairly simple and intuitive as well. So people like that one.
We've just started using QuickBooks and it's great.
QuickBooks is great,
Being
and
able
it's
to
also a
upload
lot more
the
scalable
receipts.
too. So
Yeah,
if
that's
you need
good.
to go big, you
I like
can
that.
with it. So those are
Good.
Those are some of the answers to that. Next question. Who we got?
This one?
Yeah. Go ahead and touch it and then share it. And then, no, we got to see who asked it
I
first.
know, that's what I was waiting
Rick. Oh boy.
for. Yeah. What?
They cut the usernames off.
Can you send him a message? Will it come up then?
Sure.
There we go.
Rick. What is that saying?
Rick Villa and
Rick Villa,
Andy.
Rickville and
no.
Andre. Remodel. That's a mouthful, Rick.
How about Rick Villa?
Villa,
Landy. Vic
ND.
Villandy. Rick
RIRY remodeling.
Rick Villandy remodeling.
Rick Villandry remodeling.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Good luck. Okay, now we're gonna try and read your
I
question.
hope your question's easier to figure out than your bloody name. Hold on here. We got a question coming through on the Instagram machine here live here. Gaza Construction says, I too use QuickBooks. Best way to stay organized is to have an accountant. That is a...
Oh yeah, there you go.
That. What he said. Main Dex says, do you use QuickBooks desktop version or QuickBooks Online?
We use the online.
We moved to QuickBooks Online this year. We were using Sage 50 accounting in previous years. We made the switch to cloud-based QuickBooks Online this year. Have not regretted it for a second.
Yeah, our point of sales has changed to Lightspeed, and our accounting has changed to QuickBooks. Last year, we were doing point of sales and accounting out of Sage.
We've gone heavy
change.
into the cloud this year because we heard there was no COVID-19 up there.
That's right. We knew before you knew.
Where are we at with this one? Who is it? Is this Rick Villandry? Is this Rick Villandry Remodeling's question here? Rick Villandry Remodeling says, more interviews with businesses that are successful. Cascade one was fire.
Perfect.
So great.
Cascade's in here right now watching this online.
Are they?
Yep.
Cascade, you'll be happy to know that your episode, I believe, is 3rd or 2nd place most downloaded all time. After 69 episodes in the last year and a half that we've been doing this, you're still behind Mark King from Infinite Decks.
That won't take long.
That won't. I think we finally have somebody that's going to surpass him. But you're up there, like you've shot ahead of frickin' everybody, and you're in 2nd or 3rd place. That's pretty phenomenal.
Okay, so
Big time listening
Make
on
a
that.
note. We'll do that more.
Yes. So if you who asked that? Rick Villandry Remodeling.
Say it again.
Asked that. If he's in here or listening to us, shoot us some.
People you want to talk to.
Yeah. If there's people specifically you want to hear from, send us a message and let us know who those are, and we'll do our best to get them on the pod.
Okay. Meraki Outdoor Living.
Meraki Outdoor Living.
I think I'll take over saying
this
the
is-
names.
Yeah, this is
You've blown it.
This is a spam one. Hi, the Ultimate Deck Shop. Really enjoying your page. Let's connect. Let's not. Next.
Big dog decks.
Big dog decks. That's Rick. Take a note. That was way easier to say.
Building during this
it's just my name,
unusual
you
time.
guys.
So do you think that means he's building? Big dog decks is building during this unusual time? Or are we? Or how should you be building? Let's talk about what you should be doing if you're a contractor showing up in somebody's house to build.
Was it unclear that we were wanting questions?
No.
Next time I'll be like,
Put 2 question marks.
we're going to do
maybe.
an Instagram statement. Just say something at us.
Okay. So building during this unusual time.
Yeah. Okay. So
What should
building
you
during
do?
this. So I don't know exactly what they're asking here, but if you're talking about physical on-site stuff, I mean, obviously it depends on the area you're in right now too, but everybody's getting to the same place, which is don't talk to people in person.
Yep.
So the moral of the story is here, our industry, thankfully, is an outdoor industry. We don't have to be inside of people's homes. We don't have to necessarily communicate with them face to face. There is nothing we actually have to do that involves physical contact or closer than 6 foot communication. There's nothing.
Yeah. With your own employees, you do? 'Cause-
Payment, maybe.
Well, no, but even that, you can do e-transfers. You can ask people to send you the money that
Yeah,
way.
unless it's a bill for $100,000 or something. Like there might need to be the passing of a check, but
But they could leave it in a mailbox.
leave it in the mailbox, pick it up, like, and then wash your hands.
Employ a carrier pigeon. This is so simple.
Yeah. So
But with your staff, with your
staff.
employees, that's a little trickier, right? Because there's like, hold this ledger, hold that, those things.
So I don't know that we're in the position to be giving health advice based on this thing right now. I think refer to your local health authorities' guidelines for what you're supposed to be doing right now. Commonly, those things right now are obviously the social distancing, staying at least 2 meters apart. That can be tough on a job site. So definitely defer back to if anybody's not feeling comfortable or has symptoms of anything, stay home.
Fire them. Oh, just send them home.
Right.
Right. Not fire them, I guess.
Do your best to keep your distance. If one guy could be setting joists and another guy could be laying decking and you can stay apart a little bit, then do so. But the minute that somebody's showing symptoms of illness, you need to curb that and not risk it, right?
Yep.
This may be a situation where maybe you can defer and work at different hours a day or move, if you can afford to defer the project a bit, do it, I guess. But just be sensible about things. Wash your hands, have hand sanitizer on site. You're already probably supposed to be wearing a dust mask. Wear a mask, anyway. That could help with things as well. So
Yep.
just take extra safety precautions. Comment. She's lively, hey? Your wife,
She's busy today.
she's
She wants
ready
it,
to go.
Yeah, she wants it to be good.
Let's see here. They just aren't using punctuation likely. Typical contractor typing. Wade never uses punctuation. So I get to guess a ton? Was that?
Tone. That's tone. T-O-N-E.
Oh, guess the tone of the message. I see. Wear gloves, says Gaza Construction. Yeah,
okay.
wear gloves as well, of course.
Good.
Your wife is happy that you noticed her. I feel like this is not going to be good for you.
Colin,
where are you going here?
Colin True Builders.
Okay.
Here's the next question.
Next question from Colin.TrueBuilders says, how to continue deck and yardscaping businesses in light of COVID-19. Keep calm and build on. Well, you answered your own question.
I feel like we already did that one.
Well, no, I
We
think
just did it. We just talked about
I think we talked a little bit about what you should be doing on site. I think people need
Gazzy, you're right. JJ is lonely.
I think people need to try to stay as positive as they can during this whole situation. It's scary. If you're a single person or 1 or 2 person crew, it's probably a little bit easier to handle this situation right now than maybe a bigger operation where you've got a lot more people under you and you need more work coming in to keep everybody busy. But I think you just need to stay positive through this because there's no other. The other alternative is to panic and crash. Sound fun?
Not for me.
Okay, so then let's all stay positive.
I've always been that calm.
Start reaching out to your customers in other ways. There's obviously now social media has become cool even for those who weren't using it properly before. Now all of a sudden they're in panic mode, being like, "Oh, I guess I got to do social media now because I can't talk to people in person." So use what's at your disposal to reach out to customers. Offer if you weren't offering estimates over the phone before, maybe now you need to, or video chat or whatever it might be. Or even if you were, maybe you just need to communicate that again and say, reminder, we can do all this stuff from afar. I can come measure your house. You never have to be outside. I can prepare an estimate. I can deliver it by email. We can have a video conference chat to talk this through if you like. There's a variety of things you can do. And if there does need to be some sort of on-site consultation, again, you could be using your phone through a video chat. They could be standing inside the door with the screen door open and you could be 15 feet out measuring things and having a conversation back and forth. Like, just again, take those precautions while you're doing this, but don't crawl into a hole and wait for this to pass, because we don't know how long it's going to take. So do your best to stay motivated. Do some things right now that if you've got extra time because the jobs aren't coming in, work on the business then. Get your taxes ready now. You got a deferral on it, but maybe we get your taxes ready now. Maybe you find unique ways to promote yourself when this thing's all over. Maybe you work on your website. Maybe, like, there's things you can be doing. Unfortunately, it's probably not generating a lot of income right now, but you're sitting at home anyway if you're not working, right?
Yep.
So prepare yourself to come out of this thing stronger than we went into it with, so that you can bounce back and recover some of that lost time and income that you're experiencing right now. That's my best advice on that. Next question. What do we got in there? Hang in there, JJ, says Warner. Thanks, Alex, says JJ.
They're Gazda and Alex are chatting with JJ in there. That's what's happening.
So next,
Ivo Construction.
Next from Ivo Construction, or Ivo Construction, or whatever it is.
Yep.
They ask, grooved board versus non-grooved, pros and cons of each, pluses and minuses of each. This is a good question. Here we go. Something not COVID related. So groove boards have a crevice in it that COVID-19 can hide in. I think that you should. So you don't want to use no. Okay.
That's pretty funny.
So listen, this depends on the brand of board, the type of board that you're using, the market you're in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Corktown Deck Company. Appreciate it.
This is a pretty good one. That was
our market is they want the groove boards, and they want to use the hidden clip fasteners, and they don't want to see screws in their deck, and they don't want to plug the whole deck, and et cetera, et cetera. So our market specifically, people are very big on groove boards. That said, we do carry, for example, Wolf, that does not make a groove board in their Serenity PVC line.
Correct.
And therefore you have to find another way to fasten it down, whether it be hid fast, flooring nailer, or camo edge screws, or screwing and Cortexing the whole thing down, or whatever. So obviously so he's asking for pros and cons. So solid edge boards, pros are you're forced to actually physically connect the board to the joist through some fastening system, be it a screw or a nail, and therefore the deck is stronger.
Positive connection.
Positive connection to the joist means your deck is more rigid, more strong.
More rigid for sure.
By doing that, by also fastening it down that much, you're also limiting the amount of expansion contraction that the board can do. So that's a pro.
Correct.
Any other pros to just solid edge boards? The biggest one is
right
the
angle.
strength.
Yeah, I think at the right angle, you can see the grooved edge boards. And so a solid edge board looks a lot more traditional, right? Like when you're walking along the deck.
So maybe a little bit more aesthetically pleasing in some capacity.
Right?
The cons of that are your fasteners are potentially more noticeable. So if you're using a camo edge screw, like the Protect line or the Marksman line, you can still see the screw on the side of the board a little bit.
Yep.
And so it's hidden, but it's not completely hidden. You can still see it a little bit. I think for most people, when they first see it, they're like, oh, I can still see that. And then they get over it, and then it becomes hidden because you forget that it's even there on the side of the board. You can see it if you're looking for it, just like you can see a clip if you're looking for it too. But that's one drawback. If you're doing Cortex, again, it's a hidden system per se, but if you've thrown down the whole deck with Cortex, undoubtedly you can see where the little dots are. Fairly well hidden, but you can see it. Hid fast on the other hand is very hidden.
Correct.
So hid fast, you don't hardly see unless you're really looking for it, because all it is a little tiny 1/8 inch wide piece of stainless steel cleat between the board, and it's buried pretty low down on the board.
Correct.
Tough to see.
Yep. It's good.
The drawback to that though, on that system specifically, is that there's no way to remove and replace a board. You've got to cut it out. You got to break that or somehow get that cleat out. And then you got to put the new board down with camo or something anyway, because you can't reuse that tool.
Yeah. It's like doing hardwood flooring. It's broken.
So it's on there. It's permanent. It's not coming out. So that's a drawback. Now, as far as a groove board goes, these are typically more.
I would say that the solid edge boards are also, they take longer to install. It is a longer fastening system.
Yes, so that'd be a drawback. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
To that.
And so then that flips right into a pro of grooved boards, is that when you're putting down a groove, well, it depends though. If you're using hid fast in that thing,
that's fast.
Guys who are using hid fast, they're flying, right? So it depends which tool you're using. If you're doing double screws, so camo or especially Cortex, where you're like, you've got 4 steps per joist: screw, plug, plug.
Yep.
That takes a long time. Camo, a little bit quicker, screw.
Yep.
And then
Hit fast,
bang, one. Next
Moving
board
on.
goes on. So that's fast.
Yep.
A grooved board, however, you can use clips, whether that's Trex Hideaway clips or Fibron Phantom clips or Simpson Ebb Tie clips or Camo Edge clips, Edge X clips, or whatever you want to talk about. All those are pretty fast. Probably none faster than Camo Edge clips, but they're all pretty fast because you're putting in one clip per joist per board and the next board slides on. So one screw again instead of two.
Yep.
So that's fast. The drawback of that is that some of these systems, they're all over the place with regards to how well they're holding the board down. So you've seen a chart out from Camo Edge that says their holding power is quite a bit higher than some of the other clips in market. So depending on what you're using, but the moral of the story is they're just relying on a clamping action.
That's right.
Or a pressure fit kind of thing. And sometimes with some of the clips over time, those boards will slide or they'll move a little bit. So that's a drawback.
They can.
So fast, hidden, but not as strong of a connection to the board, to the joist.
Yeah. And you end up using a solid edge board usually anyway, because you're going to do a picture frame with it. So picture frames, they're a lot, solid edge boards are a lot better on the picture frame and on the stairs. Grooved edge boards don't look as good. So
Cameron Wyatt just joined. I was going to mention him before when we were having the invoicing conversation, because I think he uses FreshBooks, if I'm not mistaken.
Where's he?
I was like, right here, CameronWyatt.sk.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's one that could give people some feedback on FreshBooks, I believe, if they wanted that. So moving on to the next question. That's a good question. Solid versus grooved. So if you have the option, it's really a personal preference. I would say on higher decks, like if we're talking elevated decks over 6 feet, the added strength of screwing a deck down is nice because you will limit your racking, potentially the shakiness of your deck. So Colin Truebuilder says, I like Tiger Claw installed with a gun when I can. Yeah, we were big Tiger Claw fans and
I still think that would be my second one. Like I think I would use Camo over Tiger Claw, but then I think Tiger Claw would be the one that I would recommend after that.
Yeah, Tiger Claw works great with a variety of boards. It works fantastic with, with most of them. Any 1-inch grooved board.
Yeah.
It's fast. Once you get some experience under your belt, because handling a handful of clips and trying to load them on the nose of the gun, if you haven't done it before, is a little bit finicky. But once you get used to it, it's quite a fast system as well.
Yeah.
It's nice because it does, depending on the board, have some teeth that'll bite into the board a little bit on the upper side of the board you're shooting it into.
Yep.
But the other side, though, is just, again, kind of a clamping action holding it down.
But
it can allow for movement.
Those little teeth that go into the top side of the groove help with that board shifting, which is good. It still allows it to expand and contract, but it won't shift on you.
Yeah.
Right?
Depending on the board again, right? With Trex or TimberTech, they don't fit super well. So, but Trex and TimberTech each have their own version of the clip that's shaped a little bit different to work better with those boards.
Yep.
So, but some of them like Fibron, the teeth bite it a lot. Fibron, they bite it a lot. Clubhouse, they bite it a lot.
Yep.
Decorators suspect they would because it's a tight groove as well. But it's a good option for sure. Not without its drawbacks, but they all have some sort of drawback. And next question.
Finkelberry 1000. How do you think this virus will affect us?
Like you and I, Finkelberry, or us all? You think this is either
us?
This is either a very narrow question or a very wide question. Are we going to assume that he's talking about the deck builders?
Decking industry.
Honestly, your guess is as good as ours at this point. We don't know. Nobody knows how this whole thing's going to play out. What I do know is that the cases in our market are on the rise, which means we're getting closer to what I would call the scary peak of it before things start getting better. So that's going to happen 100%. There's going to be a peak to this thing, and then it's going to get better. And until we get over that peak, there's a lot of unknowns. So even though it's scary to think like, boy, this is going to get worse and worse before it gets better, it's like, it has to though. And so it's almost like, I almost now at this point, when I wake up and look at the news and see more cases, I almost look at that as oddly as a positive, because it means we're getting close to that kind of mass peak where then things will get better. Because for a while there, the cases were holding in Saskatchewan. I was like, boy, maybe we can just ride this out and we can be less affected here than other places. And if the cases stay low, but I think everybody at this point has realized that this thing it's going to spread. And so it's just what shape is the curve at this point.
Yeah.
So how's it going to affect us? Well, obviously right now it's not good for any business in any capacity in any industry right now, unless you're selling toilet paper or hand sanitizer.
And even
Or
that's
produce,
probably
maybe,
not
right?
that good.
Not a good situation for them either. But if you're a service industry that's been shut down, like a restaurant or a hairdresser or a dentist office, devastating. They've been shut down already. Like they can't, their only way to generate revenue is social interaction. So restaurants have the option of maybe still delivering food a little bit or something, but like it's been a gigantic hit to them. It's been a gigantic hit to us.
Yep.
And will continue to be so for so long. We just got officially the shutdown order basically on Friday that retail businesses in our market are now, unless they're essential businesses, are not supposed to be open. So now we were doing our best to try to capture whatever possible little bit of revenue was out there before this came. And now that order has been put in place, it's pretty grim looking as far as the balance sheet for the next little bit here.
It's hard because we've always done things like we've always been really active on social media, and we've also been really good about email us in pictures of your house, email us plans of your deck, and we'll do an estimate. So for quite some time, we've already had in place the systems to bid jobs from afar.
So we were just saying,
we still have the ability to do that.
Yep.
But what happens is the people with the money are now a little tighter with it.
yeah.
Like I was even talking to JJ about it. So she works government. She says a very secure job, but she was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how this is all going to play out for us. I don't know if government is going to have to make some cutbacks because governments rely on tax money. And if nobody's paying taxes, we've all had an opportunity to defer our taxes. So now they have less money too. So I don't know. It's it's different.
What I am hopeful for, like the effects of what's happening right now on the economy and as such on small businesses in that economy is not good right now, obviously. So make the most of whatever you can at the moment. But what we can hope for is that we come out of this thing and there's a push, there's a resurgence. People are been pent up in their houses.
Yep.
When this thing's over, let's hope that people are like, let's get our lives back to normal. Let's get back to everyday living. Let's go out there and buy that deck and put the deck on the house. And like I said, maybe they even want to do that now while they are pent up. If they still got an income coming in, if they're lucky enough to have a job that they've been sent home at, but they're still getting their wage.
Yep.
Maybe now is a good time for them to do something like this.
That's right.
So you just got to find those people.
Yep.
But the hope is the next couple months are going to be tough. When we come out of the other side, be ready to get out there and make up for lost time. So
Yep.
when I mentioned before, get your paperwork done, work on your website, do whatever you got to do. Like get that stuff done now. So when this thing's all over, you're not still sitting there watching Netflix and get caught off guard by the sudden resurgence of activity.
Yeah.
So just be prepared, do what you can to get through this next couple months here.
We'll get through it.
Look into the options that your governments are putting out there for you as far as making life more manageable. So whether you're getting extra tax credits or child care benefits or wage assistance in some capacity, take advantage of those things, stay awake, watch the news every day, but not too much. Understand the severity of the situation.
Not too much.
Listen to what they're suggesting you do, but don't get caught up in it and putting yourself into a negative headspace.
Yep.
So
We got Ivo Construction joined. We read his question. Red Isle has joined. We read his question.
yeah,
So
a couple of those out.
they're in there already.
You bet. Next question, Sean Steffen. His only request was to not talk about COVID-19.
Okay.
Nailed it. Maverick Decks, our good buddy Mavs from Calgary, Alberta, asks, what is your outlook for spring, summer with everything going on? The delayed start to the season. So
I think we just talked about it. I think the outlook is fairly grim.
the immediate outlook,
It's ugly.
work next week isn't looking too hot.
Nope.
Let's just put it that way.
But it will come back. It just does. We're consumers, right? That's how people are consumers. So at some point we will do this again. We will buy again.
And I've seen a number of people posting on Instagram and Facebook right now about how they're shopping online like crazy right now because they're itching. Like they're itching.
They need to do something.
Yep. So the outlook in the immediate future is so uncertain for anybody. Nobody can give us any answers to anything. Nobody has the capacity to give you an answer. So there's no try to just make your current situation as tolerable as possible. Spend time with your family, work on the other stuff in your business, wait for this thing to pass. There's no answers now. And it's frustrating as all hell that there's no answers right now, but understand that this is temporary. We go through a little bit of temporary pain to get out the other side. We all started our business. What is? We all started our businesses.
Temporary pain for big gain.
Sure.
That's a gainer. Very gainer.
Patience is his big thing, right?
I nailed it.
Now we all need to exercise patience right now.
Yep.
But we've all been through struggles before. This is not the first time that you haven't had the phone ring. Okay. When you first started your business, the phone didn't ring. And it was scary then. And if you've been in business for a long time, you went through 2008 or other times in your local economies there's been slumps and the phone doesn't ring as much. For the most part, you come out the other side if you have the right headspace. So don't pack it in quite yet unless you're absolutely forced to for some reason. But there's a saying out there, and I don't know exactly what it is, but with every situation like this, there's an equal opportunity on the other side. So, and the bigger the crisis, the bigger the opportunity is on the other side. So
yep.
Maybe you got to flex and change your business model a little bit, but
my sister's even in here.
You have the right headspace.
Look at this.
Try to focus on the stuff you can control, says Eric.
Eric killed it. You're right.
Eric, am I saying your last name correctly now? Is it Teru?
Teru.
Eric. I can't even say his first name now without an accent because of how his last name said. Eric Teru. We used to always say it Thoreau, but he told me the other day that English people bugger up his name all the time. We were talking about what he should name his business if he was going to change his business name. And he's like, I don't want to call it my last name because English people bugger up my last name all the time. And I was like, well, how is it said? And I was like, guilty. I was a Thoreau as well. So next question from JJ's Lovely Things. Do you know her? Yeah. She comments on a lot of stuff.
She's a rocket.
How could I... Here's our slow pitch.
She did this.
Pitch here?
Yeah, that's perfect. You got it right.
Oh, nailed it. Tattoo. That's going to be my new word I'm going to use when I do something awesome. It's not going to be like, oh, right on. It's going to be, tattoo.
You even got a French on that.
How could I design, get an estimate, pick product, and get it delivered all from isolation?
That's a
I don't know where that question's going.
I didn't plant that. She just said to me, she was like, I'm going to send a question in that you guys can talk about. Okay.
Ryan Leslie says, fellas looking great. Thanks, buddy. We're not...
I've been working out. I'm in a 32 gene, if you haven't heard.
My family has been down at the family farm for the last
Bryce
week.
Loves that. I'm wearing a 32, by the way.
Last week. So I've been getting better sleep than I have in a long time. So in spite of the current world state, I feel great. How can I design? So let's answer this question realistically though. As we mentioned before, we've always been online friendly. Let's say we've done a lot of our estimating throughout the years, communication strictly through email.
People often walk in the store, even people in Regina walk in the store and I'm like, can somebody come to my house and measure it? And we initially start with no, right? We can pay somebody to come out and do it. We can hire a contractor to do it. But initially we don't want to. Too many resources being burned. So it's like, okay, go ahead.
So we just sold a few jobs and DIY jobs, and I kid you not, none of them had stepped foot in our store. 2 of them were to places outside of Saskatoon. We had a sale on, they bought stuff. We've delivered it up to our Saskatoon location for them to pick up from there.
Correct.
And they have never stepped foot in our store, and they have never, it's been email. It was email only for the most part, maybe a phone call here or there, and then they phone the credit card in. So we were managed to pull off a couple sales without ever having being within 400 kilometers of these people. So it is possible to do that. So as far as designs go, we
actually sold Eric quite a bit of stuff, and he lives in Montreal,
right?
Just outside of Montreal, but we'll say that. So
we have the ability to do 3D designs for those people who are looking for it. So if you're wanting to plan now, it is a chargeable service, but we do have a 3D design. If you want to see what your backyard's going to look like, again, we can come out on site, take pictures and measurements of your backyard without ever having to contact you. And then we flip that design and we can deliver all those deliverables to you via email. If you want to have a face-to-face conversation walking through the design and saying like, oh, can we make some changes here? That's easily accomplished through a Facebook Messenger exchange or a Zoom video chat or whatever you want. So there's easy ways to, or just a phone call if you don't need to be visually. You can both be looking at it on your computer and having a phone call too. Whatever works.
Yep.
As far as the estimate goes, as long as you know kind of roughly what materials you want to use, we can put that estimate together. If you know it's going to be a wood deck, that's easy. If you know it's if you know it's composite, then there's a certain number of price points and we can say, what's your price point, or have a look at these resources. Our catalog should be here right away. So we've got a great catalog that'll show you a lot of price points and color swatches. Mm-hmm. We'll send one of those out to you.
There was a guy outside of Saskatoon that wants some samples, and I offered to mail those samples to him because he wants a few different companies. He wants some decorator samples and he wants some like AZEC samples. And so I said, okay, well, I'll pile all of the samples together and I can mail them to you. Right. Yep. And so rather than going to Decorator's website and then to AZEC's website and then to Trex's website. So anyways,
so we're
just here to help. Just send us a message. We'll help you.
We can get those things to your doorstep without having to interact with each other physically.
Yep.
And if you are so kind enough as to buy that project through us, we can deliver it to your driveway or your garage or your backyard without ever meeting you again. Literally all of this can be done without any interaction. The hardest part of this is to avoid contact on is going to be you choosing your deck board color.
Yeah.
But that can be done through a variety of pictures. We can drop samples off at your house. We'll be at the store. If there's a situation where somebody absolutely has to come down and have a look at the samples, we can arrange for you to come to the store without anybody around and you can look at those samples, or we can set them outside or whatever. So if that's the biggest struggle, we can handle that.
Yep.
So literally all these things can be done. We just need to talk. We just need to be able to communicate, and those things can be done without touching each other.
I also think that everybody understands that there has to be a level of isolation during this. And so everybody is
not everybody. There's a
like, we're just willing to do it.
You're right. But like, have you seen those pictures of people just like crowding beaches and parks and stuff? And
Florida.
Like nothing's going on.
That's where I'm going next week.
Blah.
Ivo Construction says, where's your 6 foot distance? We earlier in the podcast and message, we decided that we don't have to keep 6 foot distance. The two of us.
I was going to say the camera shaves off 5 feet.
That's a better answer.
Trick. Yeah. That's
we used a green screen
behind.
Yeah.
Our point was that we made earlier is that Wade and I, we spend 12 hours a day, every day,
at least,
with each other 3 feet apart. If either of us had anything at any point, we've both got it. Yeah. So what we have done is I'm isolating from my family. My family's been down at the family farm and I've been here.
How
so
long
I'm
are they
keeping my
there?
circle pretty tight with these guys here. Indefinitely. They're supposed to come back Friday. We decided to push that to Sunday. Now we're pushing it back further.
You're going to continue to get amazing sleeps.
If I go to bed on time, I am. Yeah.
So funny. I had the best sleep of my life the other night. Wait, I went to bed at 12:30 and then I slept all night. And I never woke up at all. There was no crying. The dog didn't wake me up. There was nothing. And I went to bed. Yeah, that's my life.
12:30 last night. I woke up at, I set my alarm for 8 just in case, but I woke up at 7:30, but from 12:30 to 7:30.
Nothing.
Gonzo. Where I was fantastic. A couple more comments. Ryan Leslie says, someone tell my wife to isolate from me. Laugh out loud.
Option B.
Option B. B.
As if everybody hasn't seen that. Do you saw that, Bryce? We sent that to you.
Eric Tero says, I get pallets of stuff, no problem. And I've never been to Regina. Yeah, so we've shipped Erica some orders. We do sell online a little bit. We're working on our new store.
Eric, that's not a perfectly true statement. I do believe that one of the pallets we sent you, there was some trouble with that because it got to a cross dock and then they weren't going to bring it to you because it was a residential area. But anyways, you basically explained to that guy that wasn't acceptable, and then it did work out, but it was met with a little bit of trouble.
We can't deliver that to you. Can't is a loser response. Figured out. Right. Let's go.
And then it happened.
Another question from Mitcon Dex. He says, virtual estimates through FaceTime and or screen share for digital 3D walkthrough. So we've touched on that a little bit, I think, of recent questions here. But yeah, there's certainly, I know a lot of companies now are taking advantage of Zoom.
Yeah.
Or some sort of conferencing app, video app, screen share app. There is no reason you cannot do that.
Yep.
That is actually probably a more efficient way to do it than to try to plan a meeting with somebody at a certain time at a certain place and walk through it both looking at the same computer screen. You're likely better off just to do a screen share or to watch the video yourselves together at the same time over the phone or whatever, or have them just watch it and take notes and send it to you. There's ways to communicate that don't need to be 2 feet from each other. So yes.
Okay.
We've got more questions. That was it from the first story you posted.
This one's Meraki Outdoor.
Yeah, we can skip them, but there should be one that I posted. That one.
This is Ryan.
So here we go. A couple more questions here, folks.
I think you can read that one.
RyanLeslie.ca. So for those of you who follow Vinyl Guys, he's now got his own entrepreneur account, I'm going to call it, called RyanLeslie.ca. So give him a follow. Need some help in the Saskatoon store building displays. He's offering help.
Not this week, but maybe next week.
We'll take you up on that if we can get by the social distancing rules at some point. We may need some assistance.
Yeah. Let us know how this isolating from your wife goes, and then maybe
yeah, if you need a place to go, we've got a building.
we could trade. She could cut my hair. This could work.
Somebody should.
All the places are closed. Can't get your hair cut anymore.
Meraki Outdoor again has managed to squeeze in his spam on all 3 of our stories.
He's really good. He's got a good spammer.
So the Savvy Carpenter asks, and I think this is actually our last question. This is our last question from the stories. So if you guys have any questions for the Instagram live, throw them up now so we can get to those once we're done this. The Savvy Carpenter asks, do you offer reduced pricing for larger online orders? So this is a 2-pronged question. First of all, we offer free shipping on large orders. So if you spend over $199, we ship things for free.
That does not include deck boards.
Does not include deck boards. That's only things that are on our website at the moment. So that in a way is a discount for larger orders because shipping costs a lot of money. And so we need to make sure that
spend a lot of money on shipping.
The margin we make on the thing we're selling is going to cover at least a good chunk of the shipping cost. So we do offer free shipping over $200. If this was a specialty case where you were saying like, I want to order a pallet of LUS 28Z hangers, Simpson hangers, can you do better in the price? Probably. But that's like, there's no built-in utility on the website that's going to allow you to bulk discount things. So just shoot us a message. If you're like, yeah, if we're sending you a ridiculously sized order of a bunch of things, whatever, and there's some efficiencies there, we're happy to share those cost savings with you.
Yeah, I think that's all he's after. There's not an out of the box solution, but we're always just message us.
Yeah. Yeah, we would love to be able to offer free shipping all the time, but unfortunately shipping costs anywhere from like, even on small things, it's $20 to $30 to $50. So if we're selling something that costs $50, I can't pay $30 to ship it to you because I'm only making $10 on the sale. So that's the reason why there's a limit, but just be aware of the limit because some people buy stuff from us and it's $160 and it's like, why wouldn't you? And then they pay $30 shipping. And it's like, just add a set of squid jigs or something to push you over 200 and get the free shipping because you're spending that much anyway.
6-inch G-tape, 4-inch G-tape.
Yeah. So it helps all of us if you're able to push over that 200 and save that shipping. Did we get any questions come through the Instagram machine? We did not.
That's it.
Balance and blah, blah, blah. So that's probably it. If you guys have any more questions, be quick and send them through here right now. What are we up to this week, Wade? Where our business is being told that we're supposed to shut down. There's a lot of confusion as to whether it applies to us or not, but I think we're just going to. It's not like there's a lot of foot traffic anyway coming through the stores. As we mentioned before, we can still operate through the internet, people can still email us. We can still work on your estimates. We can still do deliveries to your house. We can still do all these things. The only thing that changes is that you're not supposed to be coming into our store door now, but we can still do all the other aspects.
I would say that we didn't have a whole bunch of people coming through the store door
It's not a big time of year right now anyway. Right? It's tough to say how, we've got not a lot of snow on the ground. It's pretty much gone just about in most, except for in shaded areas. It's hard to say, would we have seen more traffic had this thing not been happening? Probably. But
yeah, likely.
Comparatively to last year, the numbers aren't down a whole bunch, but this, like I said, this thing changes every single day too.
The thing that we're missing right now this year over last year is that this is supposed to be home show time. I get these reminders on my phone and it's like, ugh,
we're supposed to be at the Saskatoon Home Styles show as we speak.
Yeah.
And so
that
those
sucks. I don't like that.
Yeah. Those
like
reminders, I should go into my calendar and remove them all because next week's only going to get worse. We were supposed to do 2 shows next week.
Yep.
We're going to get bing, 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 constant reminders of what should have been, but it's not. But
I don't know. So what is this week? I think we need to crack down on Regina. And
we're going to put some hours in Regina. Yep.
We're just going to open next week.
Try to get this as close to ready as possible.
We'll get moved over to this location, right? Get the computers up and displays done. And
yep. We'll do that kind of stuff. So
That's it.
as
Try
a
and
sign
stay
off,
off of the news. I'm going to stay off of the news sources.
Are you?
I don't like it. It just bugs me. So
I had a tough day on, what was it? I want to say Tuesday maybe.
Monday
I got myself maybe
Monday
Tuesday
was bad
/
for me.
Wednesday. I dove into the news quite a bit and put a lot of fear in myself, and I didn't have good days those days. I came to work and I was just in full panic mode, and it wasn't good for anybody. I turned that off on Thursday and I had a great day. And so then, since then, I have checked in on the news from time to time, just so I'm aware of what's going on in the world. And so I'm aware of what we're supposed to be doing and whatever else, but I'm not dwelling on it and searching for bad news anymore at this point. So
and I think that's it, right? You can like take some of the news, be aware, but my bad day was Monday.
limit yourself.
Yeah.
10 minutes of news. Check in,
That's all you need.
find some articles, see what's going on, close it up, get on with your day, go do something productive.
Yeah.
So Eric says, at least you didn't set up before the home show and get canceled. I can't imagine how devastating that would have been for me. I couldn't imagine having to put in all that work to set up for the shows and then not get the reward out of it. We have overloaded ourselves with things that need to be done, and there is no chance we could have afforded to put all that time into something that wasn't going to happen. So the silver lining of the shows getting canceled is that we have stuff to do.
We didn't go to the show.
Yeah. Why because he's Aztec Dex asked, why are you cutting Wade out of the video feed from Shane? And that's the answer. He's just trying to get socially distanced from me. But let's finish with
the other idea of those shows is that you can set up and then nobody attends.
And I didn't want that either.
So
there was a point in time when I had fully committed to the idea of like, I hope these shows get canceled because I want nothing to do with getting completely set up. And then the attendance drops from 20,000 to 6,000. And then all that effort and time is essentially wasted. So at a certain point I was like, you know what? They might as well cancel the shows and we'll use that time to get the stores ready because there's not gonna be enough benefit coming out of it anyway. He just
fine.
Thanks, Aztec. He's gotten really close here now.
You should have done that.
I'm getting a little beard tickle here. Anyway, I want to sign this off with everybody. Just keep positive is the biggest thing. My bad days are the days where I let myself get into a negative headspace. Don't panic. This is temporary. It sucks right now to have so much uncertainty. People understand and they're comfortable when they know when they know what's about to happen in their lives. People like to be able to plan things out and know what's happening. Yep. Nobody likes surprise. And unfortunately, this surprise is like, it was a surprise that this all came on and happened in the first place. And now there is just no answers to anything at the moment. So take it one day at a time, set yourself some goals daily to get some stuff done. Keep marching forward. Keep looking, like feeling accomplished helps a lot right now. To start the day and do something and feel accomplished is big because now you've got some goals and now you've got some certainty because you're controlling what you're doing. So I would say ride this through, get the help where you need the help. If it means a little bit of help on the finances, ask for some forgiveness on, there's a lot of things being offered right now as far as mortgage deferrals and all this stuff. Take advantage of that stuff if it's being offered, if it's going to help you to try to alleviate some of that stress because we don't know when things get back to normal. But for sure, don't hibernate and pout about it. We can't do anything about this right now.
No.
So stay in a positive mindset. If you need to chat, you know where we are at the Ultimate Deck Shop on Instagram and a variety of other ways. We're always willing to talk, as you can tell. And
53 minutes of it.
Yeah. Great episode. Here we got one more question. If anyone is having a bad day, reach out and talk to one of the other contractors. Different pair of eyes helps.
Yep.
Yeah. So we all get there. We all have the odd bad day, but find somebody who can lift you up and ride this thing through. That's all we can. That's all we can.
That's it.
That's all we can offer. Stay positive, everybody. Until next time. Until next week. Take care.
You've been listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast.
Ultimate Deck Podcast.
Brought to you by the Ultimate Deck Shop. Shop with us at www.ultimatedeckshop.com or check us out at all the social networks we can keep up with. Hit us up for any collaboration or sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for listening.